That's a good way to start it. Hey, Mark.
No, we're not start. Are you recording?
Yeah, I just not started. When we start again?
No, just.
How you doing?
Hey, Brandon, what's up? We'll just start from there. But here we are again.
Yeah, welcome. Gnostic Deluge. Still working on the Kybalion.
Yeah, by the three initiates. Just so the Kybalion. Anyway, and so if you're just tuning in the first time, that is the text we're going from, and today we're doing the.
We're doing the principle. It's chapter 10 in the Kybalion. It's
the fourth principle.
It's the fourth
I
principle
was just looking.
of polarity.
Yep.
Which is interesting because it seems like we've been already talking about polarity, but yeah, but not specifically.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. At first, I was kind of like, well, they're all the same thing, but then I'm like, well, there's enough difference that the more they go down, you're like, oh wait, they're a tweak. Of each concept.
Yeah, and just because there's so many, just because the principle of correspondence is actively, continually making them all seem like the same thing. See, it's all correspondence's fault.
That all corresponds.
Yeah. Man. But principle correspondence just jacks everything up.
Hey, I got a special treat for you, Brandon. Here, get those little coaster things.
Oh, you got new coasters. Or old new coasters. Like coasters that never mind. You've changed your coasters.
Well, no, we were using these originally.
Oh.
Okay, so we got premium butterscotch beer for all ages. Magic food and drinks. For magical food and drinks.
This is cool.
Oh, shoot. This actually has a...
Approved by the Ministry of Magical Foods and Drinks.
I didn't know it was a magic food, but hopefully it, so this is butterscotch beer, so there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see, first sip. Oh yeah. That is butterscotchy.
Yep. I like that.
That's good. And so this one, yes.
I wonder why it's magical. It has a broomsticks on it, too.
The Ministry of Magical Foods and Drinks. Maybe this is like the Elixir Vitae or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I feel myself getting younger.
Have you showed it yet? If you're listening, then I'm just showing the bottle right now, but it's pretty cool. It looks like they're playing, whoever's the manufacturer of this.
Yeah, they don't even have, it's got broomsticks on it and stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of playing with the whole, like, magical... Like it's a magical elixir of some kind.
Anyway, yeah, I got this at actually Cracker Barrel.
Is that where you got it from?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the front store then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, we were looking at all the different stuff. There was another one we tried. It was
that's good.
Root beer, a caramel root beer. And it was okay. This is way better. This is like, so.
I've tried something like this before. I can't remember. It wasn't the same thing. But yeah, that's really good.
Butterscotch beer.
From what I remember, this is better than the one I had before, so good find.
Primo.
Unfortunately, if you got it at Cracker Barrel, I don't know if it too.
Go to your local soda shop. Like a place that specialty soda place. I'm sure they'd have it there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's one in. I know there's a place over in Gilbert that sells a bunch of different sodas and stuff.
Years ago.
I wonder if Bevmo would sell weird sodas. Like or Total Wine.
They have a soda section, but
I bet you they would have some Primos. They're not just kind of Coke and Pepsi.
No, they have some other things.
They'd at least have some RC.
RC?
Royal Crown, man.
Yeah, Cherry RC. Do they still make Cherry RC?
Somebody does.
That's good. I remember that was my favorite non-Mountain Dew when I was younger.
Cherry RC.
Cherry RC.
Back when I could drink actual sugar things. This is all sugar. This is natural.
Well, I saw stevia on there.
It does?
Yeah. Also, it has cane sugar and stevia.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I've never understood the reasoning for that. Oh, well.
Yeah, because it's 180 calories. I guess it cuts down on the calories some, because if you look at a regular soda, it's like 240 calories.
Of this size, yeah, definitely.
So anyway, okay, enough about.
Wow, that was so. Here, welcome to the welcome to the Gnostic Deluge. That was our improv start on this butterscotch.
A complete surprise.
Yeah, complete surprise.
Good. Next would be, it'd be good is a grape cream soda.
Oh, don't even.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah, why has somebody not done that yet?
Yeah, there's orange cream, which is good.
Yeah, orange cream is great.
A grape cream, a good grape soda. Okay. Anyway, so these are opposite ends of the scale. Oh, I think we're
just like balancing ourselves here.
Oh, there we go. All right, so anyway, we're talking polarity. So
let me ask you a question, Mark. Do you have a bunch of notes on this one again?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I got lots of notes. I was up last night doing them.
Should I start with reading the Kybalion aphorism?
Yeah.
Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled.
There you go. So everything is dual. There's opposites. I'm just doing the summary.
Yeah.
All manifested things have two sides, aspects, poles, and knowing this explains paradoxes. So,
what I like,
which is interesting.
What I think I like so far, this is my like intro to the principle of polarity. Is it for all these 7 principles? This one is the only one that can compete with the principle of correspondence, and when it comes to once you see it, it's hard to unsee it.
Yeah, because I was
like rhythm and vibration. You can be aware of
this, them. Really looking into it. Last night, I was like, "Oh wait, this is a lot more than I thought." Like I was like, "Whoa, the actual things are the same." They're just moving. Anyway, we'll get into this. Yeah, this one was like, oh, this is actually pretty. And I think finally we're getting into the really good ones, the good principles. I mean, I think that, well, not that the other ones weren't, but I think they were setting the groundwork of understanding and, okay, correspondence, blah, 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 and there was a lot of confusion, but now we're getting into the meat or the beyond meat,
the practicality of it.
The beyond meat,
beyond like the alternative meat. That or impossible.
If you prefer that, impossible. Like it's impossible to taste like meat.
Try being someone who doesn't eat meat. It tastes real good. But anyways, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to cover both sides of the polarity.
There
are those who eat meat. Those are those who are hungry.
And I wasn't expecting that one. I was going to say, and they're the same thing.
Well, okay, on the scale, it goes, okay, eat meat, not eat meat, right? And then there's all these things in between.
Yeah.
So you're going from either eating less meat, less, it's all on the polarity scale. So, okay, let's get into this. Anyway, but I'm not really meaning to knock people who don't.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, I eat meat, so I'm like a real person, or, people are like that.
Mark, just so you know, Mark is totally joking. He is not like downplaying people that do not eat meat. Hey, we have a lot of listeners, Mark, that are vegetarians.
I bet you we do. Anyway.
I know of at least one.
Is it you?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't count myself. My wife.
Oh, your wife. Well,
Anne. Yeah. Thanks, Anne. Love you. Okay.
Shout out to the wife. I'm not even going to acknowledge mine. She's behind on episodes right now, so.
Oh, so
no. Anyway, so okay.
So what do you got?
So it explains paradoxes. Okay, Hermetics teaches that things that seem diametrically opposed are merely different in degree. This is important. This is what we were just talking about. And then there's a little thing. Yeah, start by this. This must be important.
Yeah.
Pairs of opposites may be reconciled by recognition of the principle of polarity. So how does that work? So what do they mean that they're diametrically opposed? Things that seem like they're like. Maybe we should give an example. They use the example of spirit versus matter.
Okay.
Would I mean, you think matter's like this solid thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but then we all think spirit's a different thing. If you're into this kind of hermetic stuff, like spirit is something beyond matter. It's like the beyond meat thing.
Yeah. But it's really the same.
But I'm saying, but people are like, it's different. It's not, spirit is not matter, and then you get caught up in the whole thing that matter is actually, like a bad thing, get the human condition. It causes us to be bad and everything. That's why eventually you move into the spirit realm and are able to be perfected because you don't have these things. But that's not, at least my brand of hermetics, where you're that matter is inherently
that does explain that does give that is a good reason for an earlier chapter on the whole planes of correspondence, though.
Mm-hmm.
to help visualize or to define the fact that everything is really just like a metric on a scale.
Well, so they say the difference between matter and spirit, solid matter and spirit is vibration. Good vibrations.
Oh yeah.
So that's really the only. It's more of a pure, I guess, vibration or whatever. I obviously don't know this. It's science, if you want to use that word behind it, but it's a different vibration, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of similar to the way that I can interpret it. It's as similar as a water and a gas. Like they're the same thing, right? But
a gas can do more, move more.
Anyway, it's just in a different form.
Yeah. So that's I mean, that's just an interesting thing right off the top that they're saying in this. Is that there's not a difference, really, that they're the same thing on opposite sides of the pole, which is a pretty big thing because, like old Greek thought, especially Socrates and stuff, was that, the body was, and Christian, that the body is the evil thing,
Yeah, the natural man.
And it's not. It's just changing the vibration. Or it might not be.
So that's a good example of the principle of polarity.
Yeah.
There's easier examples though, right?
Yeah.
That we deal with every day.
Well, I mean, just another example: the infinite mind versus finite mind, are different. The same,
okay.
But you're like, dude, this, and then our dumb, minds, or even small, even lower creatures and stuff have that.
You're right.
Finite. So these are things that you're like, they're just different, but they're not. They're all on the same pole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so use some of these examples that.
Well, I think the easiest ones are like your temperature.
Yeah, hot and cold. Yeah.
And maybe light. Like light and darkness, light and no light.
Yeah. Well, see, the problem with light and no light, for me, as an example, is that if you let light just destroys darkness just disappears in light. I guess you can but once light is let in, it just doesn't seem, any light is let in, darkness is gone.
So maybe the better way to interpret that is it's not actually the pole or the vibration, right? The polarity isn't between light and no light. It's really about distance from the light.
Or the amount of light. Oh, that could be, yeah. Or the amount of light that's let in.
The further you are from the light source, the darker it is.
Yeah.
That might be digging too deeply.
Anyway, let's go with heat and cold then.
Yeah, hot and cold's a great one.
I think we've used this a couple times, but it's always a good one.
Yeah, it's really the same. It's the same thing as temperature. And the way that I was explaining to my kids though is one of the
I can't.
interesting things about hot and cold is it's really we have these definitions of what hot and cold is, but that's because of see if I was to ask what would be cold to me versus what a polar bear would call cold are completely different things.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's got that thick hide.
Yeah,
and
polar
he's
bear.
like swimming in the freaking.
Yeah, exactly.
He's floating on an ice piece of ice, swimming in the thing, and he's just like, "That's my life."
Exactly. So there is a certain amount of eye of the beholderness in polarity as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that vibration that one would define as a hot or cold, for example? It's really obviously there's extreme cold and there's extreme heat, but what's in the middle? The balance is like just like
yeah,
it's comfortable.
Yeah, what they say.
Where does hot become cold?
Yeah, the thermometer measures the lowest, cold, highest, like you're saying, the extremes, but many temperatures are between, and there comes a point to where all of a sudden you got extremes, and then you're like, okay, oh yeah, oh I need a jacket, I need oh I'm gonna put on a sweater. You kind of go, and then all of a sudden, and then you come in the other way. You're naked and then you're putting on shorts or whatever, and then you're slowly, as it's getting cooling temperature down, you're putting on more clothes, and then this guy's taking off clothes, and I don't know where this is going. No, but there's a point where you can't even tell the difference between whether it's hot or cold in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just an interesting little thing. So
that's what that's describing is how our understanding of temperature is really relative.
Yeah, no absolute standard, no place on the thermometer where heat ceases and cold begins.
Yeah,
you can't put that but I've said many times it's around 75 degrees that the heat begins for me, anyway. I do have a temperature now.
Yeah. No, my house is at 75 usually.
Shoot, here though, whenever anything below 90 is good. Whenever it starts getting
once we're all
when it's 100.
Yeah.
Well, whenever it reaches 100 and above, I'm just like, okay, yep, it's summer. And then all of a sudden it reaches up to where it's been this week. Woo.
Yeah. When I go on my hikes, I get the readout, or get the readout of my watch tracks it all.
Yeah.
And I remember I'll have these points when I'm on the east side of the mountain, and the temperature will rise like 1 degree, 2 degrees.
And it burns.
Oh, that 1 to 2 degrees, just you can totally feel it.
Yeah. But anyway,
so it does give the example of light and darkness as our poles are the same thing later on.
Yeah, and that's where I really like the cold and heat temperature one. For
one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting is that this also gives an example of the music scale, starting with C and ending at C.
Yeah, it goes all the way up, and then also it's the same note, just higher.
Yeah, so it's like a different plane almost, like a different level.
Ooh, that's a good. Yeah, that's actually. I think we might have talked about that kind of, but not. With the music scale, but not going up and all of a sudden another plane. That would actually. That's a good
explanation. For the planes of correspondence.
Yeah, you're like it's the same. You're the same note, but it's higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't reference that in planes of correspondence.
Yeah, what the heck? We're gonna rewrite this book.
Yeah.
But anyway,
how about good and bad? You have any notes on that, or you want to wait on that?
Yeah, I gotta.
Okay,
but let's. I like this thing about movement on a ball, like on say the world and that the world is a sphere.
Yeah.
So if it is, whatever. I don't know. It's funny, but so you're on this sphere walking. And you start at a point going west. Let's say you can walk all the way around the world. All of a sudden, next thing you know, coming back to the same point, you're coming east to the point you started walking west.
Yeah, where does that?
So suddenly you're at some point you're going from even though you're moving the same way, you're suddenly coming east.
And that's
which is weird.
That's a different, that's different.
It's like one of those mind tricks, like.
Yeah, this whole, I actually thought about that, and I'm still thinking about it, so I'm not ready to go talk about it further. But I think when you look at things on a pole, you have like this extreme. You have two extremes, right?
Yeah, I guess this is.
But
probably
if the
best
pole
example.
was actually like a ring,
yeah,
then there would be this like other.
Yeah, where it becomes the same thing.
Yeah.
Or it's not opposite. Well, but I think it still shows the same concept.
I think one of the descriptions given in a previous chapter was the wheel turning. And when it's not moving at all, you can see that it's just not moving at all, and it looks like it's not moving. But then you move it, and then you can see the wheel turning. But when you get the wheel turning super fast, then it returns to a state when it looks like it's not moving at all.
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes in this like and this is a non-cyclical way of looking at it, but it returns back to where it's at.
Dang, man, you destroyed the analogy.
Did I?
Well, not destroyed it, but it is different. I mean, the walking on a sphere as opposed to poles.
It is different.
But okay, how about this?
Oh, did you make that analogy? Did you make that analogy of yourself?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is theirs.
Okay.
So you just destroyed the three initiates' credibility. They're crying. But
someone figured it out.
But okay, speaking of poles, okay, how about this then? You got the North Pole, you got the South Pole. So you walk up to the North Pole, right? Mm-hmm. And then you keep going in the same direction. So you're going north, and then also you keep going the same direction. Suddenly, at one point, you're headed south. Eventually,
one's different.
It says pole in it. That's why.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Well.
Okay.
We're looking at this
anyway, but I thought that was a cool. What the heck?
That one's bolting at the bottom.
Whoa.
So, one of the rules that I tell my kids right now is if you think you found a hole in it, just think a little deeper and you'll realize you probably didn't.
You can dig a hole all the way to China. Think about that. If you dig it straight down through the earth, you'd end up in China.
I remember as a child digging in my backyard hoping to find China.
You'd have to dig pretty far.
I got like a couple feet down.
The crazy thing is they don't even know if the earth is like if it's a solid core, a liquid core. Still, I mean,
what's even more weird? Can I tell you what's even more weird?
What?
We actually live on Earth, and they have. Whoa! That's all I wanted to say.
Deep.
No, we live on Earth. We live here on Earth, and we draw out diagrams of the internal parts of the Earth that we've never been to. Right? But we actually don't really know what it is.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But we live here, so it makes a little bit of sense. We do the same thing for the moon.
Yeah.
Like we know less about the moon.
Yeah, and we've possibly been there
we possibly have been there a couple times. And we still have the audacity to draw diagrams of things that
it's all speculation. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting. It goes back. Here's the quote of the day from that book the Funiculi Mystery or something.
Yeah, we just slaughtered it just now.
But how can you know anything of life and the universe around you when you know nothing of your true self? Think about that. The world is so busy studying all these things, mm-hmm. and how far have they gone on real psychology or psychiatry?
Yeah.
On really knowing yourself. Like people think that. Their political movements and everything are going to change everything, but nobody's
Well,
we're not concentrating on the self. People want to make the big moves without making the important small moves. Anyway,
what's unfortunate about that is, and this is another, this is another Hermetic quote here, but when when studying the monad, you can understand the archangel.
mm-hmm.
Like, we can probably take a shortcut, and if we did spend the time to understand ourself, then we probably would. Once we did that, we'd also understand probably everything else too.
Yeah, that's
deep,
true.
Deep.
So we'll work on that.
Yeah, I'm
work
gonna work on that when I get.
You know
home.
what? I can always point. Oh, these people are doing it, but it's always me. I'm like, actually, that's where am I on that?
What's that overly used statement about you're pointing? Like you point.
Like, if you're one finger pointing to somebody, you got three fingers pointing right back at you, and I'm like, well, I just use my whole hand when I point at somebody.
Yeah, just do this.
Put the whole hand forward. Okay. So anyway, but anyway, so the point there was the poles, that sometimes they can change, and sometimes things can change into the other things.
Yeah.
Unknowingly. So let's go with good and bad. That you're.
Yeah. So good and bad. I'm just gonna read this.
Are not absolute.
Good and bad are not absolute. We call one end of the scale good and the other bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or one end good and the other evil.
Yeah. So
that's an overly used term right there too, evil. But that's my opinion.
Well, we can go with bad then instead of evil.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying is in our culture it's overly used.
Yeah. It's thrown out like, this person's evil. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. People do. Oh my gosh.
So according to the use of the terms, a thing is less good than the thing higher in the scale, but that less good thing in turn is more good than the thing next below it, and so on.
Okay, so here's how I got it written out. I got even made a little poll.
Did you define it, or did you describe it better than the three initiates did?
I took it to the next level. Let's just say
good. Like the next.
No, but yeah, like pure good.
Kind of like the next level of C's.
Yeah.
On the music scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had it a low C. I took it up to a middle C.
Okay, cool.
So, but you got the pure good. Think about what you think is pure good, whatever image that conjures up in your head, and then you got the. Well, in this case, I'm going to say pure evil,
mm-hmm.
or pure bad.
Yeah, got it.
Like whatever. Imagine that. Now, there in between all that is more good, or going down is just less good.
Mm-hmm.
See, so you instead of using the term evil, or bad,
use less good.
Instead of you can say less good, because that's all it's all. What this is where I got to the point where I was like, oh, okay, these aren't actual opposites. It's just like, say you have the good,
mm-hmm.
and then to move down the scale, you're less and less and less good.
Yeah.
Instead of like a complete opposite. So it's all good, but just less good.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in a dimly lit room, there's still light there. Like, you can still see.
Oh, in a dimly lit room?
In a dimly lit room.
Okay, I was like, wait, if it's a black room?
There's still light.
Yeah.
There's no absence of it. It's still there, mm-hmm. but it could be better.
Light, more light, less light.
Yeah.
Until there's so little light that you can't see anything. So bad is just less good and is not different. It is just lower on the good scale. I thought that was a really, I don't know, I mean, it's probably something that they said in the book that made that trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, okay, that's a whole different way of looking at it. It's all the same scale of whatever the thing is, love and hate or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just less love.
Yeah.
Or if you take the hate side, it's less hate, to get to love. So you could take it either way, but it's all the same scale. So it doesn't, like, suddenly these opposites aren't opposites at all. This is where the reconciliation, the paradox,
yeah, you're right. So really what we have here is when you think about it like this, there's, for example, let me just say it like this. When it comes to light, you actually said this already yourself. when it comes to
you
light.
can quote me.
I'll quote you, Mark. When I was giving the example of light and dark as polarity, you were kind of like, well, but you were kind of like almost like saying, well, it's not really the same thing.
I was poo-pooing you.
Yeah,
you could say.
But you were right, and the reason why is because it's actually only just light.
Yeah.
Right.
Or only just darkness.
There's no such thing as darkness.
Just absence of light.
Yeah.
Or
darkness is not a thing, but light is a thing, right? And so we call darkness wherever we just don't have as much light.
Yeah.
Same thing with hot and cold.
Well, yeah, and we'll be in a dark room when there is still light, and we'll call it dark, even.
Correct. Exactly.
Like you were saying.
Yeah.
To quote you.
And hot and cold. Cold's not a thing. You can't make. You know what I'm saying? Cold's not a thing. It's heat and energy, and heat is a thing.
Cold is just the absence of, or the slower vibration. Okay, now
you know what I'm saying?
We're re-saying it, but in a better way.
Yeah. So
what we already.
Cold is not anything at all. There's no like, hey, can you? We have technology that can make things cold by using chemicals. But like, you can't like turn on a cold switch without like turning on a machine. But with fire or energy at the very base, energy just friction, and energy creates heat.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a absolute heat, because there's supposedly absolute zero, where it's just the total absence of any vibration. Well, but that could never happen actually.
It's theoretical, probably.
According to
And so I'll just take that.
Anyway, okay, I won't get lost in.
Now I'll take this to good and evil. There's no such thing as evil. There's good.
How dare you?
There is good. Like, there is increasing.
You know who'd say that? An evil person.
I've been tricked.
No, this isn't there's no such. You didn't say there's no such thing as the devil. This isn't like the world's this trick in the book. So like this is the Kybalion, but let's take this to where one of the sources that apparently the Kybalion apparently comes from, in the Pomandries, right? In the Hermetic Corpus Hermeticum, there's a story, the Big Bang story or the creation story, where there's this dark nature matter. Yeah. Right? What is the word? It's a dark watery substance. Right? Just basic moist nature. Moist is right. Yeah, moist nature, right? But it's dark. Yeah. And that's like that represents like the very absolute most natural form. Like there's no light there, but then light bursts out and creates from there. Yeah, the energy starts forming it. Takes the natural. Really, evil is not really a thing. Now you can say, what about the things that people do? Like, well, they're not doing good. Yeah, but it's the absence of good. Yeah. Anyway. So, well, you know what, Brandon? Next time you kill somebody, you can use this logic and whatever. No. You're going down a dangerous road, Brandon. Brandon, you're going to become a serial killer. I've got a feeling, and just say, and your defense is going to be, it's all good, man. It all started that day that he started talking about how there's no such thing as evil. What if I go to your house like one day, and all of a sudden I, go to get something out of the freezer, and then there's like a body parts in there. I'm like, and you're like, hey, we talked about this, didn't we, Mark? Yeah, I've got it on video. You would grab a soda and close the fridge. Brandon, we gotta talk. Brandon, we gotta talk. I need these sodas colder. You're out of Goslings. Yeah, no Goslings here. Anyway, but okay. Well, so let's go on to another thing. Okay. Example that they use: love and hate. Oh, yeah. See, they seem opposed, but they're really different degrees on the same pole. So, I would say that hate doesn't exist. According to what I was telling you earlier. So that's Adolf Hitler, Brandon. He just had an absence of love. He was all about him. It's all about himself. All about what his goal was, his agenda. That's true. There wasn't any love. He just had a lack of love in his heart.
Or he had an excess of love for something
For his
that
people.
wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, anyway, so there's it said that there is no such thing as absolute love or absolute hate, which is like, what? You know, because people always like God's absolute love. You know,
it's very common today to talk about that.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this because there's this myth of unconditional love.
Okay.
And that a woman has for their child.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure people have heard people say, I've never felt such unconditional love for my child. Even guys probably say it, I guess.
I say it all the time.
You do?
No.
Oh, I was going to say. Well, so my thing is that they call it unconditional love. You know, this there's no conditions to this love.
Okay.
And my thing is that what are the conditions for the unconditional love? Okay. Now what? Let me walk you through this. Is that obviously the unconditional love didn't exist before the child was born, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest condition is that it's the love for that child. That's the condition. Is it has to be that child.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't. That love, that unconditional love, doesn't transfer to every single child in the world.
So there's a condition for the child.
Yeah, that's the biggest condition. Is it's the child. So it's not unconditional love. It's love centered upon that child, because you know you can see things happen. You know, another, let's just say, kid dirty and stuff. If it was that child, you go clean them up or whatever. If it's another one, they can separate themselves from it. You don't understand what I'm saying?
I believe so. I never thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
But so there's conditions on unconditional love. That's what I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's sick.
Condition. So don't use unconditional love. Just say deep love or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I have unconditional.
I have conditional love.
I have unconditional love.
Yeah. I have unconditional love, but there's conditions. That's a weird word, conditions. Anyway, and I thought this is interesting because in fairy tales there's archetypes that are used. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest archetypes is the wicked stepmother.
Yeah, okay, that's common.
One of the reason and why would this is going along with unconditional love is because that wicked stepmother cannot have unconditional love for a child that's not her own. I mean, you know, that kind of, or that same kind of love. Like there's the stepsisters that she's treating like princesses and that she's making Cinderella do all the work, you know? Anyway, it's just an interesting archetype that you'll see that is taught through in fairy tales. Cinderella, Snow White, Hansel and Gretel. Those different ones.
You're right.
So that's just a little aside that I thought about.
Yeah.
I was like, so be careful if you're, you know, not be careful, but I just thought that was an interesting aside.
So, know your conditions.
Yeah.
Before you unconditionally
know that your unconditional love is conditioned. Otherwise, yeah. So, and then, going along with love and hate, though, there's varying degrees of the extreme love or hate, but the in-betweens become like and dislike. Yeah, you know, these smaller
there's
things.
There's kinder words that are developed.
Yeah. Yeah, in between, and then it can become so subtle that, again, like hot and cold, where you don't even
it's like, yeah, I'm impartial. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so where was that thing? So the pairs of opposites exist everywhere. But this fact enables Hermetists to transmute one mental state into another by polarization. So this is how so we've talked about the poles, and so the Hermetists, according to this, actually use it to be able to change their place in the pole, I guess.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone about this last week.
Like Hermetists are pole dancers.
Ooh, yeah.
If you think about it.
Pole dancers. I'm thinking. Okay.
You're like, oh, I thought about it.
Yeah, I've actually explained this to someone. I talked about this concept with someone last week, and about like...
I'm interested to hear how you explain this.
Well, because the reason why, cause that's what they actually said too. When I was explaining polarity,
and they said, I'm interested
so how
to
do
see.
You...
Yeah, like...
So how do you just change your... how do Hermeticists use the principle of polarity?
Well, Brandon, teach.
Okay, so the thing is like one of the mistakes that we make is when you live life and everything's magical, right? One of the things that these Hermetic principles do is they disenchant. They help you see principles and to see them in action, and they allow you to understand what's happening behind the scenes or why things happen. But when you don't have this system or a setting to explain these things, and everything just like because God said so, or because what I'm saying, everything's magical, then people just live magical lives.
Okay.
So let's say there's someone who has a problem with they have someone they have something about them they don't like and they want to fix it, right? Let's just say they have a all right, let's say they have a weight problem. That's a common thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, someone wants to fix. They're not happy about their weight problem, and so they want to fix it.
Change their vibration, man.
Yeah, but that's something that... So everybody says like, oh, so you're going to lose weight? Yeah. So what are you going to do? I'm going to go on a diet. No one actually... We're not really focusing on changing the vibration. We have these magical spells that we use. Like, yeah, if I follow the rules on this diet, then I'll be losing weight over time.
Yeah.
Right? But really, the principle of polarity is you're going to have a vibration on that pole. And so the Hermetic will look at it and say, if I want to change that vibration, I just can't just cease to be fat. I need to change that vibration to something else. You can't just erase the vibration.
Okay.
The way you change is by moving it.
Yeah, you can't.
And so the way that our culture does a lot of things is when, like, hey, do you got anger problems? Yeah. Well, just cease to be angry. Oh, got it. I fixed it just now. I'm not angry anymore. That doesn't work. That never happens. You have to change your vibration. And it has to be something that it can reside on that same pole. And so you have to replace anger with what is on the same pole as anger.
Kindness?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm trying to think.
It's difficult, but what I'm saying, like you can't if you're going to change the temperature in a room because everybody's uncomfortable and it's too hot. The only way you're going to fix it is by making it cold, right? Not by like just ceasing it to be hot. Or we're just going to stop the hot button. Okay, it's not hot anymore. Everybody's comfortable now. We don't realize it, but we're actually changing our vibration. And so in life, when we have these problems and we want to change who we are, we have to replace the things that we want to change with a vibration on the same pole.
So you're saying but
we can't just
instead of just doing like you were saying with the diet or whatever, following this, you actually have to.
So let's go back to the diet example. Okay, someone wants to lose weight. You can't just like, hey, I'm gonna cease to be fat. They have to do something to change the vibration. And a lot of things that we do today that diets have us do don't actually change the vibration.
Well, yeah, there's
actually
it's funny because there's a lot of things like you can snack and all this. Like
Yeah,
you
we don't actually...
You know, where you're actually snacking on these things and they're still not good for you, but they're less bad.
Yeah, sure. And so if you want to change your vibration, actually change it to something that where it should be, and make an effort at it, rather than just like cross your fingers and hope that it will change if you do something, the very smallest subtle actions.
Okay, so I wrote down how to do this. I don't know if you...
My last example would be like if you're depressed.
Yeah.
You can't just like stop being depressed. Do something in your life that's going to bring you happiness. Like do something that will actually change your vibration.
Well, okay, that's a good example because first off, you can't transmute something into something that
it has to be on the same pole.
Like, what did they use?
What's the example they have?
Change love into west, or
Correct.
love into red,
correct,
or east, or violet.
It
has to be on the pole.
Yeah.
So I have a thing. What's the how do you transmute love into hate? Just add marriage.
Oh.
That's the fastest way.
I don't think that's funny.
That's not even funny. But anyway, but you want to do parallel things. It's like courage to fear, hot to cold, soft to hard, dull to sharp. So anyway, okay, so this is what you were talking about. How do we do it? Yeah, that's that one with the... Oh, no, it's not. Ooh, Dr. Pepper, lucky. But this is what you were talking about.
Yeah, I just did a crappy job.
Think of changing polarity as sliding along a scale. Okay? Imagine that. Like, say you get
the sliding is good imagery.
Yeah, because it's
you
just
can't
moving
just like
on
lift
the
up
same
and go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like you're moving towards.
Yeah.
Like, say you've got anger and you want to be nicer. Oh, angry and nice. Those are the two. So you're far down the anger pole.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to start sliding up, so you start up to the more nice, not necessarily less angry, because you don't want to concentrate on the thing that you're
correct.
The problem you want to
move
towards
direction.
So I'm going to do things to be a little nicer,
correct,
not less angry.
You're right,
because that's one of the things is, or to break the cycle of the anger, not concentrate on being less angry.
Yeah, not being trying to be angry less often.
And by the way, we are not
angry.
Psychiatrists. This is what the 3 initiates.
Well, you can
talk about.
If you want to use this as a counseling session, you can make that choice.
Well, I'm sure it'll be practical. Yeah, but so the change is not from one thing to a completely different thing, just a change in degree of the same thing. The Hermetic axiom in the very back was really helpful along the lines. That's the thing, is that
I read it.
They actually have practical advice, which is good. Because sometimes you're like, well, how do I apply this to my life? So, this actually uses... This principle is known to modern psychologists who apply it to the breaking up of undesirable habits by bidding their students to concentrate upon the opposite quality, right? Mm-hmm. Which we were just talking about. If you're possessed of fear, do not waste time trying to kill out fear.
Yeah, correct. Great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Okay, so
you can't just erase it. You can't erase it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. No, but the way to not be afraid anymore is to do things courageous,
Replace it with something that is... Yeah.
Instead, cultivate the quality of courage, and the fear will slowly disappear.
Yeah, why did I try and explain it? I could have just read this.
Do the 3 initiates? They know.
3 initiates know.
Here, go read the... Actually, well, if you want to read...
Which one?
Because I don't want to do all the reading. To kill out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Wherever it is.
So if you're possessed of fear, do not waste time trying to kill out fear, but instead cultivate what?
Well, yeah, that's what I
Instead cultivate the quality of courage, and fear will disappear.
Okay, here.
I see it. To kill out a negative quality, concentrate upon the positive pole of the same quality.
See, so this is good advice because it's saying instead of you can look at it as the negative part, concentrate on the positive part, the good part, the thing that's going to improve your life,
Yeah.
Say with weight loss or whatever you're talking about.
Exactly.
If that's something you feel would improve.
Which I think weight loss is a bad example because there's lots of reasons for weight loss.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying, but if that's something that you think would be positive, concentrate on the positive effects.
And the vibrations will gradually change from negative to positive until finally you will become polarized on the positive pole instead of the negative.
Okay, now skip down to the by changing. Sorry.
By changing your polarity, you may master your moods, change your mental states, remake your disposition, and build up character.
Keep going.
Much of the mental mastery of the advanced Hermetics is due to the application of polarity, which is one of the important aspects of mental transmutation. So, remember the Hermetic axiom: mind, as well as metals and elements, may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration.
So that's where it's like, oh, this is actually can be a powerful thing if you can understand it.
Yeah.
It's like, I like the way they explained it, actually. It's really...
Yeah, they did it way better than me.
And me.
Yeah. That was humble of you, Mark.
Well, all I'm doing is writing down the stuff they say, so... But yeah, that actually, this is one of the... Kill out the negative quality by concentrating on the positive. The power of positive thinking. There's some book about it.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, instead of... Because, you know what... Sometimes you get so depressed, you're just like, I can't do anything right, and you concentrate on that, and guess what? You're just sink deeper and deeper into it. To get out of that, you need to get your mind in another place and
lift your mind to a more lofty sphere there.
Yeah, but all you're doing is sliding along the same pole.
The reason why I think sliding... why it used the term slide in that definition, the reason why I appreciated that is because sometimes we try and just lift up and move somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's not practical.
Okay, that goes along with the weight loss thing. I know we're... Yeah. That's just... Is that sometimes... You're jumping way too hard into it. Mm-hmm. That guess what? You're gonna you might see results quickly and stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's gonna come a point to where you're gonna burn out on it. You're like, I can't do this anymore.
And I've done that a lot of times. And the magic runs out, and because you never truly understood why you were doing it or how.
Like, I had gains. Yeah. But if you're sliding slowly, instead of just doing this extreme thing, like actually all those people on the show, or many of them, I'm not going to say all of them, on those extreme weight loss challenges and stuff, they end up gaining back after.
Oh, I bet.
It's
because
they eating through your lap band.
So if you cheat,
people eat through those things. The people that have, or even people that have the.
Yeah.
Because they've had surgery and stuff, but they figured out a way to...
They didn't change their vibration.
Yeah.
They're trying to have something on the outside
and this
change.
Oh, by the way, this is not a knock on any of that. Because I don't know.
Sure.
But just saying, it could be a wake-up call, to somebody like, wait, okay, so this isn't everything I dreamed it was going to be, or whatever. Sometimes people end up disappointed because they haven't instead slowly moved up the scale but sometimes extreme works too.
Sometimes
there's
it works
people
fast.
who do.
Yeah.
And then they stick with it.
Yeah, it's about the change in vibration.
Yeah. So
that was deep. That we are not weight loss consultants either. So what is it? We're not psychiatrists. We're not weight loss consultants. We're not
doctors. Remember?
Doctors. Yeah, we're not definitely not doctors. Dr. Peppers.
Dude, that's the only doctor I know. That's the only doctor I trust.
You had a joke last time about Doc Martens.
Oh yeah, and Doc Martens. True.
That was one of your jokes.
That's true. Yeah, because it's the paradox.
Remember I was referring to the joke that you had. I couldn't remember what the joke was.
You're like, the one Doc Martens, is like. But so anyway, I thought this one was really interesting, and it's like what does it say at the very end? Probably something profound. They always say something profound.
Yeah, it's like just skip to the end.
Like, we advise all students to familiarize themselves with this principle of polarity, for a correct understanding of the same will throw light on many difficult subjects. I love their little summaries at the end, and it will.
Yeah.
See if this works. See if you can get this to work in your life, because this is the way the masters do it, man.
Yeah, and I think that's it's like a part of life.
Yeah, everything
we
has
can talk
opposites.
about it forever.
Health and sickness.
But the point, I think that's why I think that even the length of this chapter in the Kybalion was pretty short, because that's all it needed to be. Like, it was pretty. We understand this.
Think about this, though. Okay, just real quick, the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
The fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. What does that represent? That's the polarity. That's the dual nature, right?
Mm-hmm. A good point, yeah.
You have both ends, good and evil, that they particularly the fruit, and then were cast into the world. They had that. There was that duality.
And that's a concept that was given in the Poemandries, in the, like, what's different about humans is of their ability to reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that they can choose.
Them. So the tree of knowledge of good and evil was basically Adam and Eve becoming humans.
Yeah. The dual nature.
Yeah.
And I'm saying kind of along the lines of what you said earlier, and then we'll just stop.
Okay.
But that taking of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil didn't bring evil into the world. Right? Yeah. Okay. I mean, just follow me. I'm like, right, Brandon?
I'm following.
Like, didn't bring evil into the world, didn't bring good into the world. It gave them a choice to vibrate on either end of the pole. So their choices would bring good or evil into the world. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I like that.
Just a thought.
You opened up a rabbit hole that we're not going to go down right now, but that is a rabbit hole that we could go down.
Dude, and by the way, it was freaking figs. The tree of knowledge, good and evil is figs, man.
Oh, and it's like a big bag of just Turkish figs.
Ooh, I've been meaning to buy those at Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love figs.
They're so good, man.
But I'm saying, like, okay. No, anyway, I love figs. They're good.
You've seen the big bag then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like nothing in them.
Yeah.
They're just dried figs.
They're just Turkish figs.
Dude, you should have brought some of those over.
I almost did. Which was weird because they were next to the Virgil's.
Ooh.
All right, next time.
We'd have the fig farts. There's nothing worse than all that.
So on one of our first episodes, we had Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was.
Well, I'm saying someone
mentioned that to me recently about the Fig Newtons, and I had forgotten all about it.
Yeah, because it was the fig with the bread, which was good. The food God made for them. Yes. And they're like, oh man, this, and there's some blood in there too.
Yes, right.
That he had prepared, and so it was basically a Fig Newton. Anyway, okay, well, we're gonna get out of here, but just a little something to think about.
Yeah, some food for thought there.
Food.
Get
it? Literal.
We'll do rhythm next time.
Yep.
Right. Talk to you later.
Bye.